I wanted to come on this week and do a little series on the consistency killer for golfers, especially a lot of us amateurs. The consistency killer. So this is for the individual who you go out and you're playing well. Maybe it's a Saturday, you have a great round, and you're feeling pretty darn good about yourself. You go back out there Sunday, maybe Saturday night you did a little gardening, maybe you had a little too much fun, maybe you did a workout, who knows what it is. But then Sunday you turn around, you go to play that next round, and lo and behold, things just fall apart. Balls taking up grounds, doing your best digging activity that you can, hitting well in front of the ball, well behind the ball, etc., right? Things just fall apart. So the consistency killer, a lot of us will default to, oh, it's the old timing, or I'm not generating enough lag, or my sequence is off, etc. Now, very, very possible, right? When the golf swing, when we're talking about the golf swing, of course, a lot of things are possible. But for the sake of today, and a lot of the individuals that I work with, we want to talk about one of the most common consistency killers, the things that will drive you nuts, the things that will take your round from a good round to a what the heck happened round. The consistency killer for a lot of us is loss of posture, okay? Loss of posture in the golf swing. Now, loss of posture in the golf swing can be a lot of different things, right? There's a lot of different aspects, moving parts. So it could be something on the takeaway, it could be something on the transition, it could be something down to impact. But what I will tell you is that loss of posture affects many of us, right? Who it does not affect is 99% of touring pros. So the best ball strikers in the world, the touring pros, they do not have an issue with loss of posture. Now their swing may look like a lot of different things. They may do a lot of different things pre-shot. They may do a lot of different things in their setup. They may do a lot of different things with their arms, hands, club, etc. But their posture likely is maintaining very, very well throughout their swing. So a lot of us amateurs, we will struggle with loss of posture. And what happens because of loss of posture? Well, we're going to see a lot of inconsistencies with our ball striking. So it's going to affect club path, it's going to affect your release, it's going to affect hand positioning, it's going to affect body positioning, and indirectly what will happen is the ball flight will be not exactly what you were hoping for. So the loss of posture is for a lot of us amateurs. It affects us in a lot of different ways, but typically it affects us with our consistency of striking. And one of the main causes is our physical capabilities. So if you have, think about this for a second, if you have a bad round, if you have a troubling round, and you're thinking, boy, I gotta get things figured out here, I gotta get things straightened out, one of the first things that you will do inevitably is you will go to the driving range to try to figure it out, okay? So you play on a Saturday, doesn't go so hot, you struggle. On a Sunday, you are going to go and try to figure things out at the driving range. Here's the problem with this for many of us, is that our physical capabilities, meaning what our body can and cannot do in the golf swing, did not change from a Saturday to a Sunday, okay? So the thing that you are grinding for and grinding against and trying to figure out and trying to straighten out, which is caused by physical incapabilities, basically, is not going to change just because you go and pound balls at the range. So what we're really talking about here is your body's ability to maintain its original, most efficient, confident lines as I take the club back and as I come back down through to impact, right? So if I set up and I have a certain posture which is effective and powerful and going to be efficient for me, but at some point in that, I start coming out of my posture, right? I come up and I kind of flatten out the shoulder plane, or on the way back down, I start to bring the hips forward and kind of early extend. Any of these loss of postures are inevitably physical challenges for the individual that they're trying to do a very dynamic golf swing and their body is not allowing them to take on. So Physical capabilities or lack thereof ultimately are the root cause for loss of posture, which are the root cause for consistency issues, okay? And what are some of the common ones? We'll go over it really quick. So what are some of the problems, or what are some of the physical limitations? And then tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about what you can actually do for these things. But a couple, we'll just start, there's so many things, but we'll start with the top 2 or 3 here, okay? The first one is our ability to maintain a good hip hinge and maintain that hip hinge as we rotate through the spine and through the hips, all right? If we don't understand the dynamics, or we don't have the motor control or the physical capacity to hinge our hips and stay loaded through the backside of the body, if we have a hard time maintaining that hinge, it's going to be very likely for us to stand up. It's going to be a consistency killer, all right? Hey, what's up, Eric? Thanks for joining. It's going to be a consistency killer. If I cannot, here's a huge one, okay? If I cannot rotate my lower body, if I cannot rotate my pelvis on the transition and back down to impact, okay? If I can't get that rotation of the pelvis, the separation of the pelvis, especially pelvis relative to upper body, if I can't rotate my pelvis, I am inevitably going to stand up and come out of posture, okay? So there's 2 main ones I see it often from the top transition back down to impact. I see a lot of those individuals losing their posture from the top, right? They look great at the top. They look wonderful coming back. Everything's good. And then as they come back down to the ball, we're going to see a little bit of that there. The one that happens often at the top, or the takeaway to the top, also is the flattening of the shoulder plane, the loss of posture that way. So I set up in my posture, right? As I take the club back, instead of kind of maintaining my shoulder angle relative to that spine angle, what I'll do is I'll flatten out and I'll come up here, okay? So the inability to maintain the angle here and kind of get flat at the shoulder on the takeaway to the top is going to be another big loss of posture for a lot of people. So just today, I want to introduce the loss of posture. I wanted to talk to you about how it really affects consistency, how it is a consistency killer for a lot of us. And I also want to talk about the maddening dilemma of, okay, if I have a trouble with contact consistency and I go to the range and I try to work this thing out and I try to cue myself out of it. Swing coaches, teaching pros out there who might be watching, let me know if this rings a bell at all. You work and work and work and work with somebody, or they work and work and work, even the stuff you give them, and they're just not making the changes they want. It's probably because they physically can't do what they would like to do or what they need to do to maintain that posture. And so therefore the struggle is real and the struggle continues. So that is the first take on the consistency killer for us golfers, one of them being loss of posture.